Nato is that one kid who basically said, screw teenage life. I'm gonna dedicate myself to raising my little sister like a single mom with trust issues. Then boom, flashback. A 10-year-old Nato's running through a damn sunflower field like he's in a goddamn perfume commercial. Locks eyes with some blonde girl, they smile. Fast forward to the present, high school, and some background NPCs ask Nato why the hell he doesn't join any clubs. He drops the "I have to take care of my little sister" line, which they immediately assume is just code for "I'm an antisocial weirdo," or worse, "I'm in love with my sister," which, Jesus Christ, can we not go down that alley, guys? Nato hears them, but thank God he's got the emotional resilience of a rock, just doesn't give a fuck. He meets up with his boy Toku, who's like, yo, I got a club. Super chill, no real rules, just hang out and talk. Sounds like a stoner cult, but whatever. Nato likes the idea, but still says, nah, gotta babysit and maybe get a job because life's a bitch. Toku gets it, he's stuck taking care of his grandpa, so they bond over mutual suffering. Enter our first certified waifu, Ishihara. She walks up all sunshine and smiles and asks if Nato's coming to the committee meeting. He hits her with that "nah, got plans with my sister" line again like it's his damn catchphrase, but instead of judging him, Ishihara's like, cool, I'll drop off the notes at your place. Like, girl, please, just marry him already and save us the drama. Anyway, Nato goes home and does full-on domestic chores like he's auditioning for a tragic soap opera. Then, out of nowhere, bam, Tamayo shows up again. This time with her cat and a look on her face like she just sniffed a turd made of his DNA. She tells Nato he's turning into his father, which sounds like an insult, then throws him his allowance in a damn envelope like she's running a mafia. But wait, surprise, there's extra cash in there. She says it's cause Suzushiro's birthday was last month and tells him to buy her something nice. Then she laughs, that weird anime villain laugh, and walks off. Oh yeah, did I mention Tamayo owns the house, never leaves her room, and we have no idea how she makes money? Yeah, she's a walking IRS red flag. Next morning, Suzushiro, that's the little sister by the way, asks Nato to do her hair. And he's like, girl, you need to start doing things on your own. I ain't gonna be your maid forever. But she looks up with those puppy eyes like, you'll take care of me till I'm an old hag, right? And damn it if it doesn't hit you in the feels a little. Then you remember, both their parents are dead, died 2 years ago, and these poor kids have been bouncing around like luggage between relatives till they finally crash landed at Tamayo's haunted house of dysfunction. On the way to school, Nato asks his sister what she wants for her birthday. They agree to check some stuff out later, but Nato gets this weird vibe, like someone's following them. So he tells Suzushiro to head straight home after school. Back in school, Nato's busy simping for Ishihara, melting like butter every time she shows up, but he knows she's way out of his league. Toku drops the tea. Some fashion scout tried to recruit her once, and she basically told him to eat shit because they weren't good enough for her. Queen behavior. And speaking of queens, news breaks that a new girl just transferred in, Satsuki Tachibana. Naoto hears that name and instantly goes pale, like he just shit himself in public. After school, he's walking home trying to mind his damn business, but the new girl is following him like a horror movie ghost, calling his name over and over like she's got early onset stalker syndrome. He tries to ignore her like you ignore a Jehovah's Witness at your door, but eventually he snaps and hits her with a classic, "What the fuck do you want, dumbass?" And guess what? Satsuki, because of course it's her, just casually drops the bomb, "I remember you from 6 years ago. Sunflowers. Ring a bell?" Oh, it rings. It fucking rings like PTSD. Naoto ain't buying any of it. "You destroyed my parents' room, bitch. You think I'm gonna forgive that?" She says sorry, wants to talk. He basically says, "Not now, maybe later, when I give a shit." She whines, "You weren't this much of a dick back then." And he's like, "Yeah, well you ghosted me like my dad goes to child support, so cry me a river." She hugs him, says she won't let go until he listens. He says fine, but then pulls the old Sonic the Hedgehog move and bolts the hell out while she's still mid-hug. Meanwhile, Suzushiro, the little sister, is walking home too. She passes by this family working on a garden and gets hit with nostalgic whiplash from back when her family had one too, before life went full Mexican telenovela. Then, out of nowhere, Naoto grabs Suzushiro by the neck and sprints home like they're escaping a damn fire drill. Why? Because crazy McPsycho Satsuki is right behind them. Back home, Suzashiro asks the million-dollar question, who the hell was that? Naoto, still breathing like he ran a marathon with asthma, tells her to focus. She changes the subject and says, I know what I want for my birthday, a garden. Cute, right? But Naoto hits her with reality. We don't have land, kid. And she, in all her bratty glory, replies, then buy some. Then Tamayo, aka queen bitch of the house, chimes in, just use the backyard, though it's fucked beyond belief. And boy, she wasn't lying. The place looks like a junkyard made love to a landfill. But hey, nothing a few mental breakdowns and a shovel can't fix. Then, as if life wasn't chaotic enough, Satsuki shows up. With a hoe, Naoto instantly goes into full big brother defense mode, standing between her and Suzashiro like she's packing a bazooka. I don't know what you want, but piss off. And what does she do? Oh, she just lunges in and plants the most aggressive anime kiss in the history of puberty right on Naoto's lips. No warning, no lead up, just full send, tongue included. And the best part? Suzashiro sees the whole damn thing. So does Tamayo, who's probably regretting every life decision that brought her to this moment. Naoto, despite secretly enjoying it, you know he did, says, you got 10 seconds to get off me, crazy. But it's too late. Her kiss hits like a tranquilizer dart made of lust and trauma. Guy passes the hell out and wakes up in his room like he got soul-sucked by a dementor. At least he looks well-rusted. Tamayo, never missing a beat, tells him, next time you use my backyard to get freaky with your classmates, I'm kicking your ass to the curb. Fair. Next day, Naoto walks Suzashiro to school and tries to explain what happened, but she's having none of it. She gives him the silent treatment and mentally disowns him like any good little sister would. Ishihara, the actual angel of the series, remembers what happened yesterday, saw the kiss go down, and just assumes Naoto got himself a girlfriend. Naoto shows up and apologizes for missing the committee meeting and says he'll miss today's too. Ishihara, being the sweetheart she is, says it's okay and that it's cute how much he cares about his sister. And just when things might calm down, boom, Satsuki shows up again. Doesn't say shit, doesn't even warm up, just grabs Ishihara's like she's picking melons at the grocery store. Why? To see what kind Naoto likes. Excuse me? What? Naoto grabs the resident lunatic and runs her to the rooftop for a private WTF is wrong with you conversation. He demands an explanation. She shrugs. Was he mad about the boob grab? The kiss? The destruction of his childhood crops? Satsuki pulls out the hoe, the same one she brought yesterday. Says she's been trying to return it for years. Flashback time. 6 years ago, Naoto met her in his family's garden. They were kids. Innocent, friendly, whatever. And then, one day, this lunatic storms in and absolutely nukes the garden with a hoe like it was a WWE match. Then she vanished. Now she's back, with the hoe, and apparently no better impulse control. Naoto stares at Satsuki and just straight up asks, why the hell did you do that? And she refuses to answer, but then she says she's sorry, like genuinely sorry. I can make it up to you, with my body. And instead of doing what literally every other MC in the genre would do, which is turn red and then smash cut to black, Naoto just gets scared. He keeps grilling her about the kiss, because now his little sister's mad and it's all become a soap opera with garden tools. Why'd you do it? He yells. She blinks like he just asked her why water is wet. You seriously don't get why a girl kisses a guy? Then she leaves, all disappointed like she expected this emotional moment and got rejected by a toaster. Now, Naoto feels like the villain. And you know what? Kinda fair. Even though the guy's done literally nothing for the past 10 minutes except breathe and get sexually assaulted, now he's stuck with the guilt. Later that day, our man's walking out of school and then it hits him. Ishihara didn't even look him in the eyes. Oof, that was his daily serotonin. Gone. All thanks to Satsuki and her surprise tit grab from hell. And the worst part? He didn't even do shit. Cut to Satsuki, who is now casually carrying Suzashiro like she's luggage. And Suzashiro's got a scraped knee. Naturally, Naoto sees red. You touch my sister again and I'm folding your face into origami. Dude's ready to throw hands. But then Suzushiro tells him to calm the hell down. She tripped. That's it. No street brawl, no torture, just clumsy legs. They walk back home and Satsuki goes, "I can help with the garden. I'm not a pro, but I've had one before. I know what I'm doing." Wait, hold up. You had a garden? Anyway, both siblings are confused but desperate enough to accept the help. Beggars can't be choosers, especially when your backyard looks like Chernobyl. Then, boom, Ishihara shows up. "Can we talk?" she says. Next day, they meet at the mall to shop for school committee stuff. And thank the gods of plot convenience, everyone else bailed. Just the two of them. Meanwhile, Suzushiro is working on the garden with Satsuki, depressed out of her damn mind. She wonders if her brother already forgot about her. Why? Because Naoto promised they'd work on the garden together, but instead, he's off with committee girl. So now, Satsuki, our honorary homewrecker, volunteers to help in his place. So romantic, right? I'll weed your garden so your brother can go flirt with another girl. Then, just when Naoto's about to confess to Ishihara that she's the one he actually likes, his mouth seizes up like his balls know he ain't built for this level of honesty. Fast forward, the girls show up at the store. Suzushiro sees them and immediately goes full Latina mom mode. "So this is your little committee trip? You lying bastard." Naoto, trying to defuse the bomb, pulls out a hoe. "I got this for you. It's your favorite color." Satsuki sees the scene from afar and walks away like she's in a slow-motion heartbreak montage. Meanwhile, Ishihara tells Naoto she's going home, then casually drops, "I love how you care for your sister." But oh shit, did she just say, "I love you"? She panics and dips before she turns into a tomato in front of everyone. Cut to later. Naoto and Suzushiro realize Satsuki is missing. They find her in the backyard. She asks Naoto how his date went with his committee girl. He tries to explain like, "It wasn't a date, the others just bailed. I didn't ask to be alone with her, it just happened." She tells him that next time he has to take her out instead. Classic reverse psychology move. Naoto suspects she's trying to bait him emotionally and vows not to fall for it. Spoiler, he's absolutely gonna fall for it. Then he notices the backyard actually looks decent now. The garden is coming along. And maybe, just maybe, Satsuki was serious about helping. Satsuki, covered in dirt, says she needs to change because she's filthy. And Naoto, being the emotionally stunted virgin he is, freaks out when she starts to undress right there. Tries to stop her, slips, and boom, he falls right on top of her like he's reenacting a hentai setup. And guess who walks in? Tamayo. The walk-in you done fucked up alarm. She glares at him and says, "That's it, you're dead. I told you, no funny business in my backyard." Satsuki starts apologizing like she just ran over a nun, and she offers to go talk to Tamayo to explain what the hell happened, but Naoto, being the king of just let it burn, tells her to forget it. He knows damn well it's only gonna make things worse. Man's already preparing his mental eulogy for having to move. Again. Then he tells Satsuki he's dipping, but since they're headed the same way, she tags along. That's her excuse anyway. Truth is, she's trying to dig into his soul with small talk. She asks if they're really moving again, and Naoto, channeling the spirit of every evicted renter ever, says, yeah, no shit, it was bound to happen eventually. He's just glad they lasted a little longer this time. He waits for his little sister to knock out and drops a truth bomb. Their parents' marriage was about as welcomed as a fart in an elevator. No family support, no love, just vibes. That's why it's just him and his sister now, riding the pity train all the way to Tamayo's couch. But Satsuki? She doesn't buy that Tamayo actually hates having him there. I mean, the lady literally offered them her damn garden. If that's not low-key tolerance, what is? Speaking of gardens, Satsuki gifts Naoto some seeds, actual ones, not metaphorical, and says if they get kicked out, they can always crash at her place. She lives alone, which raises some questions, but okay. Cut to Naoto chilling with his little sister. She wakes up, probably sensing the emotional wreckage in the air, and asks if he fought with Tamayo again. She pleads with him not to abandon her, no matter what. Aw, cue trauma. Meanwhile, Tamayo walks out of the bathroom, realizes her glasses are missing, and, plot twist, the damn cat stole them. She chases it in nothing but a towel, smacks straight into the door, drops the towel, and boom, she crashes into Naoto. Dude sees everything, like everything. Front row IMAX 4K. She bolts back to the bathroom, mortified, yelling at him to get the hell out of her house. Which is fair. If some dude saw me naked mid-cat chase, I'd exorcise him from the building too. But Nato, still haunted by the ghost of awkward boners, tells her he's been thinking. When she let them use the garden, it meant she didn't actually mind them sticking around, right? And gardens take forever to grow. Tamayo cuts the crap and tells him to get to the point. So he does. Straight up begs her not to kick them out. Says she's the only one who's treated them like actual people and not stray dogs. She walks out again, dressed this time, thank God, gets her glasses and hits him with the classic, "Is that girl your girlfriend?" Nato, still dripping with secondhand shame, explains she's just a childhood friend, wants to help with the garden. And no, he's not thinking about girls right now. His mind is all on Suzushiro. So Tamayo gives them a pass. They can stay. But she makes it very clear, focus on the papayas in the ground, not the ones under the shirts, you hormonal garden gnome. Later, Suzushiro asks Tamayo to help in the garden. Tamayo hits her with the ultimate Gen Z answer, hard pass. That sounds boring as hell. Nato brings up that their dad told them Tamayo used to have a garden too. Bad move. Her aura shifts like a final boss cutscene, and she basically hisses, "Don't talk about my brother. Dude grosses me the fuck out." Okay, emotional landmine activated. Next morning, Suzushiro tells Sasuke that they're not getting kicked out. Yay! They'll share the veggies with Tamayo once they're ripe. It's a wholesome moment, if you ignore all the sexual tension and emotional trauma hovering over everyone like smog. Naoto is confused why they're now going to school with Sasuke. Nobody invited her. She just showed up, probably just marking territory like a cat that screams trauma in cursive. Few days later, the radishes sprout. Naoto, a certified horticulture expert via Wikipedia, tells his sister they'll be harvest ready in 20 days. But then he finds a math test where his sister got a big fat 3 out of 10. Jesus, that's not a grade, that's a cry for help. She says it was hard, so he offers to be her tutor. Also reminds her that since they moved, he hasn't helped her study at all. Brother of the year right here. Naoto, our emotionally constipated protagonist, tells Suzushiro to stop depending on him for everything like he's her emotional service dog. But Suzushiro, she hits him with, "You're mine, and I'll keep you till I die." Next day at school, Yukari pops in like, "Help me study for the exams, Naoto." And this dude, being the humble messiah he thinks he is, turns her down, saying he's too dumb and will drag her grades into a flaming ditch. Yukari ain't buying that self-pity crap though, and makes him promise to think about it. She's not just after test scores, and we all know it. This smells like one of those study sessions where the only thing getting worked is pelvic tension. Anyway, school ends and bam, it's raining. And guess who's the only dumbass in all of Japan without a damn umbrella? Bro pulled up like it was July in Arizona. But then, Satsuki shows up with an extra umbrella like she's some kind of soggy guardian angel. Naoto's all confused like, "Why weren't you with us this morning?" And she's like, "Oh, I was. Just didn't want to ruin your little Disney moment with your sister. I followed you from a safe distance, not creepy at all." And instead of calling the cops, he thanks her. Dude gets home, realizes Suzushiro isn't back, blames the rain. Opens a closet to get a jacket and instead finds a math exam. Plot twist, she got a perfect score, 10 out of 10. And this genius girl lied and told him she failed just to bait him into tutoring her. Yeah, manipulation level big brain gaslight. So then Suzushiro comes home and he hides the test like it's porn. She tells him she walked some friend home who didn't have an umbrella. And just like that, Naoto's mood drops faster than crypto. So he does what every emotionally broken anime boy does, goes out for a dramatic walk in the rain like he's the lead in a sad indie music video. Cue Satsuki again, now soaked to the bone, because, surprise, she lied about having a spare umbrella. Probably because she wanted to see if he'd cover her up like some soggy knight in shining trauma. She notices he's all moody and asks, "Did you fight with your sister or just life in general?" He walks her home, and let me tell you, her apartment looks like a war crime. Pretty sure it has mold that has evolved sentience. Turns out she lives like 3 minutes away, so yeah, she's basically his tragic neighbor. He tries to leave, but she grabs him and pulls him inside. Not for the sexy reasons, more like emotional hostage taking. She says, "Your sister can stay alone. You should think about yourself sometimes. And Naoto, already on edge, screams at her to stop acting like she knows him, because heaven forbid someone tries to understand this hot mess. He storms out, she collapses on the floor like someone turned off her will to live. Probably sleeps there too. Girl's got no bed, just vibes and regrets. Back at home, Naoto realizes Suzushiro's been his emotional pacifier all along, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to let her grow up and stop treating her like a precious porcelain trauma baby. He brings her candy as a peace offering. She thinks he bailed on her emotionally again. He says nah, he just needs a couple hours on Sunday to study with a friend. She starts crying like she's been betrayed by a rom-com protagonist and reminds him he promised to tutor her. Then he drops the 10-10 exam on her like a mic. You don't need tutoring, you need therapy. She crumples the paper and throws it like it insulted her ancestors, claims it was all luck, that she's actually trash, and that she needs him like a fish needs water or boomers need conspiracy theories. Naoto starts feeling bad. Classic male kilt reboot sequence. And then just drops. Bro got hit with the anime flu. One drop of rain and he's down bad like it's the Black Plague. Next morning, he's sick in bed. Suzushiro wants to play nurse, but he tells her she's old enough to go to school alone. Wakes up later and finds Satsuki lying next to him, uninvited and unannounced, like a human jump scare. Dude's like, how the hell did you get in here? And she just goes, back door? That's not even subtext. That's just horny burglar energy. She pulls out a box of suppositories like it's candy and says it's what her mom used when she was sick. Suppositories, bro. Ain't nothing says get well soon like someone trying to breach your back entrance while you're unconscious. Naoto, confused and semi-conscious, is like, you remember that from 6 years ago? She's like, yup. Also, school's over. Bro, she skipped class and brought butt meds. That's a red flag bouquet. Then, ding dong, guess who? Yup, the actual crush shows up with soup like some nurturing waifu. So now our dude is sick, in bed with 2 girls in a passive-aggressive war over his lukewarm body, one with soup, the other with butt bullets. Satsuki's in Naoto's bed, all pissed off because some chick with big tits showed up. But just as Naoto's making himself comfy in the sheets with her, Ishihara rolls up with some suppositories, grinning like she's got a secret. This is gonna hurt, but you're gonna like it, she says. Naoto starts acting dumb, like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Naoto's dying inside, and in the middle of his fever, he ends up staining his PJs. Smooth, dude, real smooth. Ishihara leaves him with some special food and bounces. Naoto's stuck with Satsuki, who's got a weird, perverted little grin under the blankets. Meanwhile, Ishihara's off to the temple, wondering if there's more going on between them than just friendship. Spoiler alert, there's definitely more going on, but Naoto's too thick to realize. Naoto tries the food, and for a second, he thinks it's from a damn soup kitchen. But whatever, he shoves it down because, hey, he's in love or whatever that's supposed to mean. Satsuki heads out to check the garden and spots Suzushiro creeping around like a stalker. Satsuki asks why she's not visiting her brother, and Suzushiro just casually drops, I don't need him anymore. I've grown up. Satsuki laughs and then yells at her not to rip up the basil because it's best friends with the tomatoes and they kill pests. Suzushiro gets the hint and decides to go see her brother, like the basil, who needs his tomato fix. Then Suzushiro drops the real bombshell. She was there the day Naoto broke down crying. What she saw that day was some strange dude congratulating Satsuki. Suspicious much? Suzushiro asks who that guy was, and Satsuki, being the queen of gaslighting, lies like a pro. There was no one, just a tantrum with Naoto, she says, then tells her not to tell anyone about it, cause you know, secrecy and all that. Suzushiro leaves with her brother, who's lost the garden and his best friend, but whatever. Suzushiro's happy now because Naoto's all hers. The next day, Suzushiro wakes up looking all grown up, and Naoto's like, it's nice that you're not a burden anymore. But deep down, she's still that selfish little girl. Some things never change. Naoto spends the whole day at school waiting for his chance to talk to Ishihara, but nope, it's a no-go. All the other guys are drooling over her, debating whether she's hot or on fire. Then Naoto sees a group of guys heading toward Ishihara. Ishihara, being the badass she is, tells them to get lost. Naoto takes his shot and thanks her for the food, but he chickens out when it comes to asking her out. Guess who's got the balls here? Ishihara, because she straight up invites him to study together. They go to the library, and while they're studying, Ishihara fills him in on everything he missed while he was sick. Naoto starts realizing he's losing his mind over her, but being the dumbass he is, says it out loud. Ishihara responds like it's no big deal. "I'm helping you out of charity, new kid," but then drops the truth bomb. "Yeah, I'm into you because you're not like all the other assholes." Naoto, being a goldfish with memory loss, doesn't even remember their first meeting, so Ishihara jogs his memory. Turns out, one day she was all sweaty and changing in the classroom when Naoto barged in looking for his sister. He didn't even notice her, completely skipped over the fact that the most popular girl in school was practically naked. Ishihara begs him not to remember it, but Naoto's dying of embarrassment. Ishihara tells him she likes him because he's got his priorities straight, not like the rest of the horny idiots who just want to get in her pants. And then, in a burst of honesty, she bolts out of the room before she can finish the confession. So, Ishihara walks out and bumps into Satsuki, who's just chilling, waiting for a damn ride. Ishihara starts to wonder if things between her and Naoto are about to take a twist. But nah, Naoto just happily strolls off with Takui to grab some food, chatting about what Ishihara told him like he's some kind of monk now. All I gotta become a saint to win her heart. Takui, being the absolute fucking troll he is, asks if Naoto's getting with Satsuki too. Naoto's like, "Nah man, we're just childhood friends." That night, Naoto's trying to study for exams, but all he can think about are Ishihara's tits. He's stressing trying to focus, but nah, his brain's filled with nothing but dirty thoughts about Satsuki and Ishihara. And then, out of nowhere, he realizes Suzushiro's been creeping on him the whole time. He panics, dips to the bathroom like the coward he is. Meanwhile, Ishihara's in the bathroom too, contemplating her life and realizing that if she doesn't make a move soon, someone else is gonna beat her to it. Her game's weak as hell, but she's ready to pounce. Next day, from that point on, Naoto tries to keep his mind as pure as a nun's, but surprise, surprise, he ends up wetting Satsuki with a hose like some middle school perv. At school, Satsuki's playing the teasing game, calling him out for thinking about Ishihara's boobs all night. This is when Naoto realizes, hold up, Satsuki's panties are in the wash, which means there's nothing under her skirt. She doesn't complain, but then hits him with the warning. "If anyone sees under my skirt, you're done. Your social life's toast, buddy." When Ishihara shows up, Naoto can't stop staring at Satsuki, and Ishihara's catching on. She can feel the shift, like a hungry predator circling its prey. So she makes her move and invites Naoto out after the exams. Naoto, being the dumbass he is, agrees without a second thought, like he's not about to make a complete fool of himself. And just as they're walking, a breeze lifts the girl's skirts, and Naoto, desperate to avoid showing them what they should never see, dives behind Satsuki like the scum he is. Of course, Ishihara spots him. Naoto's blaming Satsuki like, "Why'd you ruin everything?" But she tells him it wasn't that serious. And besides, under her skirt, it's not just hair. She's actually wearing his underwear, the one Suzu, his little sis, lent her this morning. So yeah, he ended up looking like a total perv for absolutely nothing. A week later, Ishihara's cold as ice towards him, so Takui suggests hitting up the beach, and the girls are all over it. No surprise there, right? But hey, Naoto's probably just thinking about boobs again. So our boy Naoto finally caves and agrees to go to the beach party Takui planned, because peer pressure and boobs are powerful forces. But plot twist, Ichihara's acting all weird, like she's about to file a restraining order or some shit. And then there's the real crisis. How the hell is Naoto supposed to explain to his precious little sister Suzu that he's ditching her for the weekend to go frolic in the sand with two top-tier anime waifus? Luckily, the universe throws him a bone. Suzu's got her own school trip. But then karma comes in swinging. Suzu finds out about the beach trip and gets that abandoned child from a sad piano commercial look. So to soften the blow, she asks Naoto to take her swimsuit shopping. At school, Satsuki hears Naoto freaking out about entering the bikini zone without looking like a pervert, so she offers to tag along. Of course he agrees. What could possibly go wrong? Enter Ichihara, who sees them together and instantly assumes they're bumping uglies behind the melon section. She spirals so hard, she's ready to cancel the beach trip and her entire personality. But Takui, MVP, wingman, absolute menace, convinces her to still go. Meanwhile, Suzu's out here hunting for the cutest bikini ever, and Naoto hits her with the "cover those sins, child of God" speech. Ichihara spying on them like some jealous ex from a telenovela and decides, you know what, screw subtlety. She busts out the killer bikini and struts like she's auditioning for softcore Baywatch. Naoto sees her, doesn't recognize her, just mutters, damn, women these days really out here just flaunting it like it's a clearance sale. Later, Naoto walks into the wrong changing room and gets front row seats to the Satsuki show. Full uncensored glory. Soul exposed. She goes beet red and runs. He thinks she's mad. But plot twist, she's hella into it. Homegirl's been feeding off that accidental peep like it's emotional cocaine. Meanwhile, Ichihara sees them talking, her brain detonates like a middle school relationship. She's fully convinced they're dating, married, and raising cats already. Then, out of nowhere, Satsuki drops some childhood trauma. Remember when I ruined your entire fucking life by destroying your garden and you never told anyone I was Satan incarnate? And Naoto, being the idiot saint that he is, just shrugs. That was between you and me. No one else needed to know. They reach the station. Boom, Ichihara ambushes. Y'all screwing or what? Naoto tries to explain the flying skirt, the accidental hug, but Ichihara ain't buying it. What does piss her off? Seeing them kiss. Yeah, that happened. Satsuki, savage level 100, just shrugs. I hand out kisses like coupons, babe. And to prove it, plants one on Ichihara's cheek. Girl's got balls made of vibranium. Somehow, that works. Crisis averted. Ichihara's like, fine. But that kiss doesn't count, because women's logic in anime is powered by black holes. Then, Naoto drops a heart-melting truth bomb. Satsuki's just my horny childhood friend. You're the one I like. Ichihara melts. Instant forgiveness. She agrees to go to the beach. Cut to beach day. Naoto nearly has a stroke seeing Ichihara in a bikini. Can't blame him. Satsuki, meanwhile, gets the cold shoulder. None of the girls like her. Naoto's in a new world. No sister, no filters, no rules. Surrounded by bros and babes and sand and uncomfortable places. He tries to talk to Ichihara, but she's got more flies buzzing around her than a popsicle in July. Satsuki, she almost breaks a dude's arm for touching her. Naoto drags her away and gives her the "don't be a psycho" talk. She ignores it, flexes her bikini, and fires off, "Why don't you just go run off with your titty goddess?" Right before they can make up, Tokui appears like a plot device from hell and tells Naoto to go buy stuff with Ichihara. Surprise, the shopping list is fake. It's a setup. Meanwhile, Tokui and Satsuki talk. She doesn't swim with other girls because, shocker, they suck. Tokui asks if she likes Naoto. She says, yeah, but I don't want to date him. I just want to shove my tongue down his throat a couple times. Back to Naoto and Ichihara. They're walking together, super cutesy. Everyone's staring like, why is this absolute 0 dating a 10? Two jealous meatheads try to start something. Naoto panics and grabs her hand. Cue accidental romance. He confesses he can't stop staring at her milk missiles. She giggles and drops the bomb, "I wore this bikini just for you, dummy." Everything's golden. Until Yukari shows up. Cue flashbacks. Apparently, he was Ichihara's ex, crush, maybe her emotional support himbo. Whatever the deal was, it ended in pure heartbreak. Meanwhile, back at the beach, Tokui overhears girls thirsting over Yukari, and he knows. If you somehow made it all the way to this part of the video, congrats! You've got more attention span than half the population. Drop a comment if you want the next part, and I'll pump out the next part faster than your dad bailed on your 6th birthday. Bye!